let's just settle into our meditation posture. So just as we've been doing, feet, hips width apart. Welcome, Kim. And really try and feel the soles of your feet in the earth, connecting with the earth. So whether you're in a high-rise building or in your home, just really get a sense of the earth underneath your feet. And so try and feel all, not the arches, but the balls of the feet and the soles of the feet. Try and feel them evenly on the ground. Imagine and try and make sure you're sitting on top of your sits bones. And shoulders are aligned with the hips. And you can rest your hands wherever you like, on your lap or in the regular meditation posture. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just imagine you're lengthening your spine. And the head is very gently, very slightly tipped forward from the top of the spine. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. And if you wish, you can have the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And make sure the jaw is relaxed. And then just release all the tension you may have been holding from today, from the crown of the head, all the way down the face, back of the head, the neck, the throat, shoulders, shoulder blades. Just allow everything to relax. Relax the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And then bring the mind to the breath. And just notice the comfort of the breath, actually, as you're breathing in and out. This intimate nature, this intimate relationship we have with our breath. And then be aware if there are any sounds in your environment and just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with the mind. And then bring the mind back to the breath. And just notice what's going on in the mind. What stories, what thoughts. And put some space in between those thoughts and stories. Perhaps you could wrap a story up in a helium balloon and just let it go. Or maybe it could rest on its own little white cloud and just allow that to gently float away. But however you're doing it, just remember you're objectively observing what's going on in the mind. The mind is rapidly moving. It's just like they talk about it as being a river of mental moments. So you're not going to catch everything all the time. So imagine we're sitting on the bank of our river now, watching that river flow on by. And when we're sitting on the bank, we're free from the river. So just bring to mind all the people of your life, your friends, your dear, your besties, spouses and children, and your loved ones, these people you have these really deep and intimate, profound relationships with. And then bring to mind those ones who are a little more difficult for you. And then our strangers. Keeping in mind, due to the nature of this world we live in, our relationships can change at any time. And then also keeping in mind that everybody is equal, same as us, in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity for enlightenment. So we'll do this meditation today for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So, your pets, black cat, and the little birds outside the window who can't do the practice themselves. So for those little animals, those creatures, we can do this practice for them. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change it by creating positivity with our mind instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And just think of specific actions of your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And given we experience everything due to our past actions, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience some kind of suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want it. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of suffering. And then what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. And so we're relying upon, in this case, the Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor rather than a kind of a higher power. This is not what we're looking at here. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon Buddha Vajrasattva's medicine methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher, if you have a teacher, spiritual guide, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long. They're shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, the right a vajra, and they're being crossed. Represents indestructibility of compassion. And they're being crossed represents a union of these two and symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, and develop a sense or a wish for them to be free from suffering. So this is compassion. So think of someone, just bring to a person or a being in mind that you've harmed. And then think of those people who've harmed you, and particularly have compassion for them because the harm they've done to you will result as suffering. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, that arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sitokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sitokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. And next is a purification of speech. And Vajrasapa now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this negativity overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the inappropriate speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Tira me boa, Zitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajamami mutta vajabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Ambajasapa samaya manupalaya, Vajasapa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajamami mutta vajabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Ambajasapa samaya manupalaya, Vajasapa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajamami mutta vajabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Excuse me, and again feel so happy. Your speech is now completely purified. And just imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So maybe someone has a problem, they come to you and they're talking to you about it, and you know exactly the right thing to say, when to speak, when to stay quiet. And only wisdom falls out of your mouth, not just opinions. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and into your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that light switch, the darkness is instantly dispelled by the light. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and neediness and anger and violence, depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, and bitterness, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasiti Mepiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ahom pe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasappa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasappa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasappa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasappa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasappa dina patita. Tira me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piyata sawakama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe. So again, be delighted at all your delusions. And this is the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech are completely purified. And now think there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time you can imagine that Vajrasattva again sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. Now we come to the power of resolve. But before we come to that, just remember that all your negativity is completely purified. There's not one atom left in your mind stream. Even those negativities and obscurations that are there preventing you from becoming enlightened, they're gone. You're free and clear. And now this fourth step in the purification process, a really crucial one, is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this determination, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So remember, Rinpoche used to say, everything exists on the tip of a wish. So think carefully about something you'd like to refrain from, something that's harmful, and just decide. Maybe you want to try and refrain from it for a day or a month or a year or even 5 seconds. And just rejoice in the efforts that you have been making and the progress that you have made. And this determination to not do again is what gives us the strength to change. And we have some minutes here, so let's just meditate on that. So maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and just think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, my spiritual guide's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And so next, think about emptiness as much as you understand that concept. There is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. And we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you could think that perhaps the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And again, also, I didn't mention Israel at the beginning. So he passed away a couple of weeks ago. So just imagine that you're dedicating for him to have a precious human rebirth, or a rebirth in a pure land. And then also Chamomile, who's been coming fairly regularly, just wrote to me. She's not very well right now. So just think of her so that she can get better and come back. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind, Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Rinpoche's swift return prayer, patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of Muni in general and the teachings of the victorious Jamgon Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions. Lord of Dharma, holding the three vows and wearing saffron robes, please return quickly as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, and able to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly, beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. And for Lama Ursel Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Lots of love.